In a winter scene, workers known as ice harvesters use tools like saws and hooks to carve out blocks of ice from a lake. While they work, they sing a chant about the dual nature of ice. It is both beautiful and dangerous. The ice blocks are then loaded onto a sled, and the harvesters ride off. Alongside them, a young boy named Kristoff and his reindeer Sven attempt to mimic the ice harvesters with a small block of ice and a child-sized sled. They follow the harvesters as the northern lights illuminate the sky. The camera captures the northern lights dancing in the sky before descending to a stave castle situated on the edge of a Scandinavian fjord surrounded by cliffs. That same night, Princess Elsa of Arendelle is sound asleep, while her younger sister Princess Anna attempts to wake her up to play. Elsa initially brushes off Anna's playful attempts, but when Anna asks if Elsa would like to build a snowman, Elsa joyfully agrees. After waking up, the two sisters rush downstairs to the ballroom where Anna encourages Elsa to use her powers. Elsa conjures up a snow crystal and shoots it into the air, causing it to explode and shower snow on them. To add to the fun, Elsa stomps her foot, covering the entire floor with ice. They build a snowman and name him Olaf, who is fond of warm hugs. The sisters happily play with Olaf until Anna makes an unexpected jump, causing Elsa to unleash a blast of power that hits Anna in the head and turns some of her hair white. Elsa cries out in distress, and their parents King Agdar and Queen Idun rush in to check on Anna. They find her unresponsive and cold to the touch. In a panic, the royal family loads both girls onto their horses and sets off at a gallop towards the mountains. As they ride through the forest, they pass by Kristoff and Sven, still attempting to imitate the ice harvesters. Kristoff notices that one of the horses is leaving a trail of ice in the middle of summer and becomes curious. Following the trail of ice, Kristoff and Sven reach an empty clearing that seems to be home only to a group of moss-covered boulders. From a distance, Kristoff watches as Agdar appeals to the still boulders for help. To his surprise, the rocks suddenly come to life and roll into a circle around them. The boulders reveal themselves to be trolls, and one of them, a rock troll named Bulda, takes a liking to Kristoff and Sven after the reindeer licks her. Grand Pabby, the leader of the trolls, arrives and asks if Elsa was born with her powers or if they were cursed upon her. He notes that Anna was fortunate to be hit in the head rather than the heart, which could have been fatal. He advises the family to keep Elsa's powers a secret from Anna and alters Anna's memories to erase any knowledge of Elsa's abilities. She will only remember the fun they had together, such as skating on their indoor ice rink. Grand Pabby warns Elsa that her powers will continue to grow and become more dangerous if she can't learn to control them, as fear will be her greatest obstacle. Agdar and Idun take action based on Grand Pabby's advice. The palace is closed to visitors, and the staff is reduced to a minimum. The sisters are kept apart, and since Anna has no memory of the incident, she can't understand why Elsa can't play with her. Anna repeatedly tries to coax Elsa out of her room, asking if she wants to build a snowman. To ensure their safety, the sisters are prohibited from leaving the castle. Anna's life becomes mundane and uneventful, while Elsa's powers become stronger as she grows up. Her father advises her to wear gloves and keep her emotions in check, as strong feelings tend to trigger her abilities. 10 years after the incident with Anna, tragedy strikes again as their parents perish in a shipwreck during a storm. Following the funeral, Anna seeks comfort from Elsa, but Elsa remains silent behind her closed door. 3 years later, Elsa turns 21 and is set to be crowned Queen of Arendelle. Dignitaries from all over Europe are invited to attend, including the Duke of Wesselton, whose intentions seem to be to exploit Arendelle's resources. Elsa is anxious about leaving her isolation and facing the numerous guests. After Elsa orders the castle gates to be opened, Anna excitedly rushes out into the city. While walking down the streets, Anna bumps into a horse belonging to a charming and handsome visitor and falls into a rowboat. The visitor introduces himself as Prince Hans of the Southern Isles, who is in town for Elsa's coronation. Although Anna is initially angry at Hans's clumsiness, she becomes smitten with him after getting a good look at him. Anna rushes off when she hears the church bells. Elsa remains nervous throughout the coronation ceremony. The bishop reminds her to remove her gloves before she takes up her golden orb and scepter. As she turns to face the congregation, she sees the gold of the orb starting to frost, causing her to panic. Elsa hastily returns the orb and scepter to the bishop and puts her gloves back on. During the coronation reception, Kai presents Elsa and Anna to the crowd, marking their first friendly interaction in years. Anna is initially flustered, but is boosted by Elsa's newfound happiness and playfulness. However, their conversation is interrupted by the introduction of the Duke of Wesselton, an important trading partner who is also a buffoon. Elsa declines his offer to dance and instead volunteers Anna, who awkwardly dances with the Duke in a comical scene. Elsa can't help but chuckle at Anna's innocent, flustered reaction to the Duke's terrible dancing skills, and Anna is delighted to see Elsa in a more carefree state. After the dance, Anna returns to Elsa's side and expresses her desire to have things be that way all the time. Elsa agrees, but her smile fades as memories of freezing Anna's head resurface, causing her to deny Anna's wishes without without explanation. Anna and Hans take to the dance floor, and soon after they sneak away to spend time together. They quickly realize that they are mutually attracted to each other, and continue their romantic evening with a date during which they bond over shared experiences. Anna shares with Hans her desire for companionship, as well as the memory of Elsa shutting her out when they were children. Hans relates to Anna's experiences, which only strengthens their connection. He promises to never shut Anna out like Elsa did, and Anna is overjoyed by his pledge. After touring the kingdom, Hans proposes to Anna on the spot, and she joyfully accepts. The couple returns to the ballroom where Anna excitedly tells Elsa about their engagement and wedding plans. Elsa is shocked and denies their request for a marriage license, leaving Anna devastated. Elsa asks to speak to Anna privately, likely to explain the danger of marrying someone she just met, but Anna refuses, insisting that Hans be present. Elsa becomes impatient and refuses to let Anna marry someone she just met, suggesting that Anna knows nothing about true love. Anna becomes angry, accusing Elsa of always shutting people out, which visibly hurts Elsa. The argument escalates, and Elsa orders the guards to end the party early and close the gates. Elsa's emotions overwhelm her, causing her to make a sudden and violent motion with her left arm, which creates a barrier of sharp icicles around her. The room is shocked by her powers, and Elsa flees in panic, with Anna chasing after her. As Elsa rushes out of the room, she encounters a large crowd waiting for her in the courtyard. She hurriedly makes her way through the crowd, receiving applause from the men, but one concerned woman questions Elsa's well-being. In her fear, Elsa backs into an ornamental fountain, inadvertently freezing it solid with her left hand. The Duke of Wesselton emerges from the same door moments later, and Elsa implores the people to step back, but another bolt of ice shoots from her hands, narrowly missing the Duke and his guards. She continues to run away, creating an ice bridge with her feet, as she sprints across the waters of the fjord and disappears into the forest on the other side. As everyone look on, the waters of the fjord suddenly freeze over, and a frigid wind sweeps through the air. Soon after, snow begins to fall from the sky. The Duke of Wesselton becomes fearful and insists that they must take immediate action to end Elsa's curse. However, Anna disagrees and takes it upon herself to find Elsa and make amends, believing that it is her fault for pressuring her sister. With Hans left in charge of the kingdom, Anna mounts her horse and sets off on her quest to locate Elsa. Meanwhile, Elsa has made her way to a remote precipice on the North Mountain, far from civilization. Here, she realizes that she can finally control her powers when alone, and decides to embrace her abilities. She constructs a magnificent ice palace, transforms her restrictive clothing into a dazzling gown, and resolves to live in isolation, where she can be free to be herself without harming anyone else. The following day, Anna can be seen riding her horse through the snowy terrain at a slow pace. Her progress is impeded when her horse is frightened by the falling snow and bolts off, leaving her stranded. She spends the remainder of the day trudging through the knee-deep snow, grumbling about how she wished Elsa could turn the fjord into a tropical paradise. Her relief is palpable when she spots a building with smoke emanating from its chimney. However, just as she does, Anna slips and falls into an ice-cold creek, which causes her dress to freeze stiff. She manages to make it to the cabin with the chimney, which is known as Wandering Oaken's trading post and sauna, and is run by the robust owner, Oaken. Anna staggers into Oaken's store, which is lacking in winter gear due to it being the off-season. She only finds one pair of boots and a single women's mink coat, but still inquires if Elsa has recently visited. However, Oaken tells her that she's the only person foolish enough to brave the storm. Kristoff then arrives, seeking rope, an axe, and carrots for Sven, and Oaken cannot help but notice how bundled up Kristoff is. Kristoff explains that there is a severe storm raging on the North Mountain. As Anna waits for Oaken to turn his attention back to her, Kristoff argues with Oaken over the high prices of the items he needs. The argument ends with Oaken throwing Kristoff out into the snow after Kristoff calls him a crook. Kristoff and Sven take refuge in a barn on Oaken's property, but Anna catches up with them and buys the supplies for Kristoff on the condition that he takes her up to the North Mountain immediately. After some persuasion, Kristoff agrees to guide her. Anna and Kristoff embark on their journey through the wintry night, with Sven leading the way. During their trek, Anna opens up to Kristoff about her impulsive engagement to Hans, and he expresses his incredulity towards her rash decision. Kristoff even quizzes her about Hans to expose how little she knows about him. Suddenly, their conversation is interrupted by a wolf attack. Although Kristoff hesitates to allow Anna to help him fend off the wolves, she proves to be quite capable and takes down a few on her own. As they continue on their journey, they encounter a deep ravine, causing Kristoff to quickly throw Anna onto Sven's back. Just as they approach the cliff, Kristoff cuts Sven's harness, allowing Anna and Sven to make it to the other side, while Kristoff and his sled fall to the bottom of the ravine and explode. Despite Kristoff's initial upset over losing his sled, he decides to accompany Anna and keep her safe. Anna promises to replace Kristoff's sled. In the early morning, Anna and Kristoff make their way into a glen that's covered in frost. Suddenly they hear a voice and come across a snowman named Olaf who can talk. However, their first encounter is not smooth as Anna reacts with fright and accidentally knocks off Olaf's head. It's only after Olaf introduces himself and mentions that he likes warm hugs that Anna recognizes him as the snowman she and Elsa built when they were kids. Anna and Kristoff inform Olaf that they're on a mission to find Elsa and bring back summer, which excites Olaf as he's always longed to experience the season. Olaf performs a song and dance number, imagining all the fun activities he could do in summer. Though Anna and Kristoff are aware that Olaf would melt in the heat, they don't reveal the truth and follow him as he guides them to Elsa's ice palace. Anna, Kristoff, and Olaf finally reach Elsa's ice palace in the late afternoon. Sven stays outside at the bottom of the icy stairway since his feet can't gain a foothold on the slippery steps. When they approach the front door, Anna asks Kristoff and Olaf to wait outside, telling them about Elsa's past overreaction when introduced to a man. Olaf and Kristoff, disappointed, wait outside and count to 60 while Anna enters alone. Inside, Anna is awed by the magnificent interior of the palace and is further amazed by the new ice dress Elsa has created for herself. Although Elsa is pleased to see Anna and forgives her for their previous argument at the coronation party, she becomes nervous and urges Anna to leave to prevent any harm from occurring. Elsa is surprised to learn that her powers extend to the ability to create living snowmen. The next development unfolds as Elsa discovers the extent of the frozen kingdom, while Anna finds out that her sister has no idea how to reverse the spell. Despite this, Anna reassures Elsa that her powers don't have to keep them apart. However, upon seeing Olaf and recalling her past accident with Anna, Elsa grows frightened and commands her sister to leave. As Elsa retreats to the upper level of the palace, Anna follows her, pleading for them to solve the problem together. Unfortunately, Elsa's anxiety reaches a breaking point, and her magic accidentally strikes Anna, this time hitting her in the heart. Despite Anna's promise to support her, Elsa only grows more uneasy, causing her powers to lash out. In a desperate attempt to protect Anna, Elsa conjures a colossal snow creature named Marshmallow to hurl them out of the palace. Thrown onto the icy steps outside the palace, they are initially left alone by Marshmallow. But when Anna throws a snowball at him, Marshmallow chases them into the woods in retaliation. Kristoff quickly starts digging a snow anchor to guide himself and Anna down the mountain safely, as Marshmallow corners them at the edge of a cliff. Despite Olaf's comedic attempts to stop the giant snow creature, Marshmallow kicks him over the cliff and continues his pursuit. After grabbing the rope, Marshmallow pulls Anna and Kristoff up to his face, shouting, "Don't come back," in frustration. In response, Anna cuts the rope, causing them to fall into a deep pile of snow. With his job done, Marshmallow returns to the ice palace. After the fall, Kristoff realizes that Anna's hair has turned white, which concerns him. He decides to take her to his family, who happen to be a group of rock trolls. They had saved Anna years before and took in Kristoff and Sven when they were young, as he had no family. Anna is taken by Kristoff to his family of rock trolls, who are thrilled to meet her and assume she is his girlfriend. In a comical dance, the trolls try to marry Anna and Kristoff, but the ceremony is stopped by the accidental participants, and Anna faints. Kristoff explains that Anna is injured and needs the trolls' help. Grandpappy, who had helped Anna once before, examines her and finds that her heart has been frozen by Elsa's powers. He tells them that an act of true love can save Anna, but he cannot do anything more for her. Anna's hair continues to turn white, and she weakly tells Kristoff that Hans can help. They then set out for Arendelle. Back in the city, Hans has been helping the people of Arendelle and offers shelter to those in need. When Anna's horse returns without her, Hans asks for volunteers to join him in finding her. The Duke of Wesselton offers his 2 bodyguards, instructing them to shoot Elsa if they encounter her. The following morning, Hans and his entourage reach Elsa's frozen palace. Upon their arrival, Hans makes it clear that he wants no harm to be done to Elsa. While the group agrees to this, the Duke's henchmen secretly have other plans and are still determined to carry out the Duke's orders to kill Elsa. When they attempt to get closer to Elsa, Marshmallow reveals himself from the form of snow boulders that were piled up at the base of the stairs and immediately engages them in a fierce battle. Although the archers try to attack the creature with their arrows, Marshmallow's anger and strength increase, and he transforms into his ultimate form. Despite this, Marshmallow is able to fend off most of the guards. However, Hans proves to be a formidable fighter and manages to evade all of Marshmallow's attacks. He uses his sword to slice off one of the snow monster's legs, causing him to lose balance and fall towards a large gorge. With Marshmallow wounded, Hans continues to make his way inside Elsa's castle. Nevertheless, Marshmallow is not willing to give up and makes one last attempt to drag Hans down with him. Marshmallow is unsuccessful, and he falls down the chasm to his apparent death. During Hans's battle with Marshmallow, the Duke's 2 men seize the opportunity to infiltrate Elsa's ice castle and corner her. Despite her pleas for them to spare her, they shoot at her. Elsa quickly creates ice walls as shields to protect herself from their attack. Eventually, she manages to trap one of the army army against a wall using icicles and is about to push the other off the balcony with a wall of ice. Just in time, Hans and his men arrive and plead with Elsa to stop before she becomes the monster that people believe her to be. Elsa calms down after realizing the situation, and the army, who is still following the Duke's orders, aims his crossbow at Elsa's head. Hans intervenes and deflects the bow, causing the arrow to hit an icy chandelier that begins to fall towards Elsa. Despite trying to escape, the falling chandelier hits her, causing her to lose consciousness. After regaining consciousness, Elsa finds herself imprisoned in a dungeon cell with her hands chained and covered by steel mitts. From the window, she sees the frozen kingdom, and Hans comes in to inform her that Anna has not returned and begs her to stop the winter. Elsa insists that she cannot and needs to be released to prevent further harm. At the same time, Kristoff and Sven arrive at the castle, and Anna's condition has deteriorated. Kristoff tries to keep her warm by giving her his hat, and she is escorted inside by some of the castle staff. As they leave, Anna looks back at Kristoff and Sven. When they reach Hans, Anna tells him that he must kiss her to save her life. The castle staff promptly exits the room, leaving Anna and Hans alone. She recounts what happened to her and then collapses. Hans helps Anna into a chair and leans in as if to kiss her, only to say, "If only there were someone here who loved you." He then reveals that he is the youngest of 13 brothers, and thus had no chance of inheriting his family's throne. Consequently, he sought to marry into a royal family and targeted Anna, playing on her innocence. His plan was to marry her and then orchestrate an accident for Elsa that would pave the way for his ascension to the throne. But with Anna's condition worsening, Hans now intends to let her frozen heart consume her and then kill Elsa, thereby ending the perpetual winter. Despite Anna's pleas, Hans douses the nearby fire and locks her in the room. It is at this moment that Anna collapses, her hair now fully white. Hans meets with the Duke of Weselton and other dignitaries to accuse Elsa of causing Anna's death by freezing. He further asserts that before Anna died, he and she exchanged their wedding vows, giving him the legal right to charge Elsa with treason and sentence her to death. The guards at the palace attempt to reach Elsa's cell, but are delayed when a wall suddenly collapses, blocking their path. While they are held up, Elsa freezes her shackles to the point of shattering and breaks through the wall to escape to the outside. Meanwhile, Kristoff and Sven have left Arendelle and are on their way when Sven urges Kristoff to turn back. Despite Kristoff's initial resistance, they look back and notice a strange, swirling cloud of snow engulfing the kingdom. They decide to head back towards the growing danger. Olaf manages to locate Anna in the locked room, and finding her freezing quickly starts a fire in the fireplace. Anna confides in him that Hans was not her true love and that he should leave or he will melt. However, Olaf insists on staying by her side until he finds an act of true love that can save her. During their conversation, Olaf remembers how Kristoff went to great lengths to rescue Anna, and just then, a gust of wind blows a window open. Olaf goes to close it, and in the distance he sees Kristoff and Sven charging towards them. Anna is filled with hope when she realizes that Kristoff may be able to save her. Olaf helps her up, but they are met with a wall of ice blocking their path in the hallway. They escape through a window and slide down the steep roofs of the castle. Anna attempts to cross the icy fjord with Olaf following closely, but as the wind picks up, Olaf is blown away, and Anna's hands and face begin to freeze. Despite this, she presses on, calling out Kristoff's name. Meanwhile, Hans finds Elsa on the fjord and tries to persuade her to come with him, claiming that Anna is dead because of her magic. Elsa is overcome with grief and collapses, causing snowflakes to hang in stillness in the air. The whiteout clears, and Kristoff spots Anna in the distance. He runs to her, but Anna sees Hans about to strike Elsa with a knife. Despite the danger to her own life, Anna rushes in front of Elsa to block the attack. As she does so, her frozen heart completely overtakes her, turning her into a statue of ice and shattering Hans's blade. Kristoff and Sven arrive just moments after Anna's transformation. Elsa is overcome with emotion as she embraces her sister, but no words can express the relief they all feel. Suddenly, Anna's frozen body begins to thaw, and she returns to her normal self. Elsa understands that it was an act of true love that broke the spell, and with this newfound knowledge, she dispels the snow and ice, bringing summer back to the kingdom. Olaf is found, and to prevent him from melting, Elsa creates a small flurry of snow above his head that will follow him around during the hot summer months. In the aftermath, a French ambassador takes Hans back to his kingdom, promising to see that he is punished for attempting regicide. The Duke, still hot-headed, tries to play the innocent victim, but Elsa remembers that he had sent 2 men to kill her, and therefore decrees to sever all trade with Weselton. To further vex the Duke, she tells the messenger to refer to his duchy as Weaseltown. Anna keeps her promise and replaces Kristoff's sled, also appointing him as the castle's official ice deliverer. Grateful, Kristoff kisses Anna but refrains from questioning why a queen who can create ice needs ice deliveries. Having come to terms with her powers and realizing that they can be a blessing, Elsa uses them to create a wondrous winter display in the summer sky. sky. She transforms the castle's courtyard into an ice rink and announces to Anna that the gates to the castle will never be closed again. With the city's people in attendance, the sisters skate around the rink elated to finally be reunited. And this is it for this movie. Click on the middle to watch more videos like this.